Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Country Morning Creation, and I am here with a tutorial on how to make these easy and elegant tags. They are actually really simple to make. A little time consuming because there's some dry time involved, but I think they turn out beautifully. This is one that I did and I left it more three-dimensional. And you can see it's beautiful, it's shiny. I hope that's picking up. You can see kind of the shiny part to this. And then this was a tag that I did a little bit experimentally. I left it a little bit thick up here and made it a little bit more thin down here. But you can see that it also is very shiny and metallic looking. And the colors are just gorgeous. So this one is purple, this one is pink. And what I used to make these are these Nuvo Embellishment Mousse, and as you can see, it adds metallic and dimensional details to your craft project. I first saw this product actually being used for planners, and I thought I loved it how it was being used for planners, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to order some. And I didn't realize that it could be dimensional. And that was when I thought, this would be perfect to make tags with. So that is what we're going to do today. The first thing I'm going to do, I have my Sizzix here. And I'm just going to run, I have the Tim Holtz tag. I guess if I turn it this way, you can see it better. I have the Tim Holtz tag cutter, and so that actually goes fairly quickly. If I just run that through real quick for you, you can see how quick that is. I know that I debated for a long time between this and a Cricuit or something else, and in the end I went with my Sizzix because I was not afraid of it. And to me, if you have a product that you're afraid of, you won't use it. It took me forever to get out my crocodile, so I wanted to go with something that I knew I could use. So that is why I got that. Next, I'm going to just grab, this is really filthy, but I just keep using it. So I have some paper here, and I'm going to use this Tim Holtz, what are these things called? Stencil. I'm just going to use this Tim Holtz stencil to decorate this one. And the way I do the three-dimensional, that's the one I'm going to start with, is I actually just use a putty knife. And this is, as you can see, a very well-loved putty knife. This is actually my husband's. I snuck it from him. And you can see this mousse is actually very dense. And I just start at the top and I start drawing it, pressing it through the stencil. And you want to really get it into the stencil. You can see like right in here where it's not quite gone in yet. You want to really press it down into the stencil. And then we're going to go back over it and take some of this back out so that it's not really super thick. Because we don't want this to be super thick. We want it to be more, you know, you're putting this in a journal. If it's really super thick, or if it's too thick and you can't write on it, then that becomes an issue too. And I did not want it to be so thick that you could not draw on it or use the back side of the tags. To me, that's really important. And then I'm going to show you here real quickly how to do the flatter side so that it's not quite so thick. This does take a little bit of time to dry. If you put it on very thin, it does dry very quickly. But let me grab, I have a brush here, and I tried a couple of different things. I tried using a cloth, I tried using a paper towel to get this down in there, and I did not find that that worked very well. So here I'm just taking my paintbrush, and if you just do like this real lightly and kind of, you know, maybe if you had a makeup brush or something, it would go in thicker. And so that lighter hand will give you this effect where it's not quite so thick. You can see that this is not as dimensional as this is. So this is much more dimensional. You get better color with the other one than this one. So you can see that the color is more solid. So it's up to you, whichever way you like to do it. I love that this is a water-based product. It's really easy to clean up when you're done. I find that I have to wipe it off like this so I don't waste a lot of it as well. But you can see it's really simple. It's literally like just pasting everything down. You're just scraping it across your stencil, packing it into those little spots, and getting the whole thing covered. To me, I like the idea of the whole thing being covered and not just the, you know, you could do a section or a small stencil maybe if you just wanted to do a little part somewhere else. I'm going to get over here on this side now and then wipe this off a little bit and get some more into here. Now, the last thing you're going to want to do is to take your oh, what is this thing called? Your putty knife. Whoops, I think I scraped a little too hard. And you're just going to want to real lightly scrape over it and get any extra off that you have. Make sure you're getting it filled in. So like I can see that right in there, I'm missing a couple of spots. So although this is easy, it's probably not quick. And then I just take the extra off and put it all back in the mousse, scrape it back in there and put the lid back on it. Wipe it off your hands. This is water-based, so it'll wash right off. Even if you let it dry, I let it accidentally dry overnight on my paintbrush one time and it still came off. And so you just start pulling. I'm going to put a finger here and you just pull straight off. So there you have it. Now you can see some of it mushed underneath of it and got on the back side of my stencil. So you may need to play around with your different stencils to see which stencils work better. This one was very heavily, you know, very ornate, and that may have been part of the issue, or I may have pushed too hard or not made sure I was pressing down with it. So then all you do after that is I'm going to go to this card. And I took that same metallic stuff and I just used a regular brush like this and I painted around these reinforcers that you can just pick up anywhere. So let me try not to cross color my tag here. And let's see. I mean, if you're like me, your hands are always a mess. And this should be fairly dry by now because I did it a little bit earlier. And we're just going to take that and plop down the reinforcer right around the hole that I punched. And I literally just use a regular hole punch like this. And I find that if I turn the design over, I'm not thrown off by the design. And so then I just kind of go, okay, that looks about like the middle. And give it a punch, and now I have a hole punched in it. And the other nice thing about the design is if you don't quite get it centered, you're not really going to see that. And then I just take some ribbon and we're going to poke it through our hole. So I made this tag last night, and I will tell you, because this mousse is a water base, you will see your tag start to bend like this. See, I don't know if you can see that this is actually curving now and it's getting curved. Don't panic, it's okay. It will dry flat again when you're done. So it won't, you know, it won't stay curved. It will go flat again. This one went flat again as well. I did panic at first. I thought, oh no, is it going to be totally messed up? So those are your easy and elegant tags. You could, of course, go back around the edges and ink up the edges to make it stand out more. You could leave it plain like this, and you still have the back you can write on. And I love, love, love this three-dimensional. At first I didn't like it, and now that it's dry and it's had some time, I really, really love this. And I may go back with my brush and try to get it wet and see if I can get some of this blue out. I'll let you know what happens in the comments below if I can do that. If not, you know what? It's still beautiful. I may use it for myself, and I may just have to try that again another day, or just a different stencil. I have a bunch of these stencils. So I've seen these done where you just take the Tim Holtz Distress ink and put it through, and that was where I got the idea to use this foam, this mousse foam, the embellishment mousse, the Nuvo Embellishment Mousse. That's where I got the idea. I thought, you know what, let's try that on a tag and see if we get the same idea. And I love, love, love the effect. So I got this from scrapbook.com. I have not found it in any stores. If you know of a store where you can find this, like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or maybe in one of the other countries, please post a comment below and let me know. And I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial on easy and elegant tags. I hope I have inspired you to be creative today.